All right, let's dive in, guys. I am going to welcome TC here in just a second. I'll introduce him personally, but first I want to introduce kind of professionally. Today we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence, AI. It's not just a buzzword, but as a tool that can help us grow sales, save time, and compete smarter. Our guest is an AI strategist. He's a lot of other things that I could add as well, but for today's context, he's an AI strategist who helps businesses turn AI into practical results. He also works with nonprofits. One thing about TC, I've known him, I want to say 9 or 10 years now. He loves God. He loves people. He loves influencing. If you go to actually his Instagram channel is probably where a lot of his content is Inspired by TC. I encourage you all to check it out and follow. He keeps up on Reels. He puts great content out that's AI related, VR related. And then also he is an inspirer in other ways. He is very proficient in rapping, spoken word, and delivering messages and telling stories. So whether that's for content that's being dropped, that's musically related, or if it's just as he's traveling and speaking in the lives of children and business owners through his own business or through COSI. And for those that don't know, COSI has won, he'll probably be able to clarify exactly, but I want to say it's at least 5, if not 7 years as the top center of science and industry. So basically science organization in the United States, and it's right here in Columbus, Ohio. So he's been involved with COSI and Dr. B, and he's just been able to seamlessly mold between his personal business, which is a lot branding related and training, as well as what he's doing with COSI. So there's some accolades that'll come as we get into it. But by the end of today, my goal is that you're going to walk away with some very real ideas that you can implement into your business, whether you're a business owner or whether you're a sales guy, whether you're listening to us live to this live stream mastermind call, the Expert Edge Mastermind Alliance call. I call it the MMA call. Whether you're listening to it live or whether you're listening to as it gets uploaded to the YouTube channel and to other social channels. So without further ado, I want to bring in my buddy, my brother, my friend, Mr. Terrell Trace TC Carter. Good to see you, buddy.
The names.
Yes, sir. Come on in, man. Come on in. TC, man, we go back
9 years. 2016, April.
I said one thing I've learned when you get my age is you have to overestimate whatever you think it is. Like and I think COVID jacked everything up like that too. Like you might think it's 5 years, and you if you're thinking 5, you need to go 8 to 10. So I was actually I was thinking 7, 8. I'm like, no, it's more like 8 to 10. So I think I was pretty close. And why don't we talk about how we just first met real quick, just to give people a little context.
Well, I had just had my first child, who is 9 now.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, just able to go out into the cold air. Yeah. And we went to one church at a music event. I think was the first time we really connected, and we've been rocking ever since. We were in a small group together. Yep. Then your support and presence through the launch of the salon and Gehenna was felt. So yeah, you are an example from when you get my age, when you are my age, I'm looking for gentlemen like you who set the tone when it comes to being unapologetic about their faith, radical for family, pouring into the lives of others. So kudos to you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I believe that we only get one chance to live a lasting legacy. So a lot of people think that they want to, someday they want to leave a legacy, but that's like the wildly important goal. What are, as Covey would say, what are the lead measures that lead up to that? And I think before you can leave one, you got to first live one. And so thank you for the kind words. I think the other thing I would say from TC and I spending time together, I have been equally blessed with, so he said some nice things about me, but I have been equally blessed from our time together. And I draw energy from this guy. Anytime I'm with him, I'm energized. I'm excited. I want to continue to become a better content creator, and not for accolades, not for recognition, but just so that I can deliver on what I feel is my mission is to get positive out into the world that's going to make a difference. And at the absolute minimum, maybe my kids will someday come watch my social media or my YouTube. It's like, if that's the minimum, if that's all that is accomplished, but we're making some progress. So,
yeah.
So why don't you share real quickly? I know I tried to give a little bit of a definition of what you're doing now, and you're multifaceted. I remember you telling me I remember seeing it on your LinkedIn, the purple cow with the teal hair.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you give a little context to that for those that don't remember the book?
I can't see the teal hair. Purple cow is a marketing philosophy.
Yep.
The legend Seth. Really just talking about, what makes you remarkable.
Yeah.
And I have leaned into what are the things that make me remarkable and not afraid to be that unapologetically. And it's made space for me. And, I'm a cosmetologist, so I color my own hair. It's the only way to do this in perpetuity because it's expensive. So, I want to contextualize my relationship to this work, this conversation, because COSI is a bit of a pivot,
Yeah.
Even before the salon, I was leading fraud teams at banks.
Right.
So even working at a science institution, you got it right. It's the past 5 out of 6 years, US Today, #1 science museum in the USA.
Check it out. COSI. Don't be sleeping on COSI.
Hey, 14 Emmys in the past 4 years.
Yes.
And one sits on my dresser.
Yes.
But the international medal is from the White House. We won that in 2003. It's the highest medal any museum or library in the U.S. can receive. We won that in 2023.
I think the way I need to find out about the accolades is I just need to listen to your drops, because when you're spitting fire, he just slips in. By the way, if you follow, he just slips in, award from the White House. I mean, it just comes out of nowhere. 14 Emmys, it'll just pop out somewhere. I'm like, wait, what? Especially in context to the way you grew up. Yeah. So I want to just jump back real quickly to the past. I know some of this, but a lot of people, they see already you're articulate, you've won some awards, you're being recognized, you've done a few things. So you must have just been raised in the lap of luxury with people lovingly pouring into you, surrounded, all of that, right? There was no struggle, there was no trouble. You didn't have anything that you had to overcome.
Clearly.
Give us just a little glimpse.
Well, man, I'll keep it real with gentlemen on the phone. I travel around a lot. As a barber, I have a lot of conversations with men. I know what men don't talk about often, and the vulnerability to say, I was the almost aborted one from jump, and my mom, single parent, grew up in an environment where a lot of have-nots, but also the dynamic personality that I was. My mom didn't really have the tools to manage me. So, all through school, it was just a tough environment. And I opted to not, I went to college briefly, but ultimately I understood education is important, but I saw that I was better suited to create my own curriculum and go pursue my own path to be educated, and, took a scenic route to the C-suite. But I met Dr. Bertley during the pandemic, managing a campaign for Experience Columbus. He didn't know me. Me and my kids had a membership there. And I said to Dr. Bertley, I had my VR headset, I was new to it. And I said, if COSI doesn't pivot in the next 3 to 5 years, it'll be a museum for museums. And he said, let's get wings. And so the role I'm at is created out of that conversation. How do we shift this museum to serve the next generation? So the past, since we were in the salon, Wharton School of Business, MIT, and Vanderbilt, I've taken certifications there to really upskill around what is AI, how does it apply to business, how do you build AI agents? So from theory to business application to some practical application. That's where I live now.
So let's jump in, man. So AI, it is such a broad term. I remember hearing a couple years ago, it's coming. Like they were talking about this tsunami. I think there's people still thinking that it's coming, like it's out there, it's coming. Why don't you help us reframe our context to what AI is. If we're a business owner, we're a sales guy, man, we may have just landed on this YouTube channel and we're neither of those, but we're trying to figure out. So how would you, let's talk about what is AI and what are maybe even some misconceptions? What is it not?
I'm gonna start with the latter.
Okay.
I hear people say that AI is a tool. I want to challenge every single person on this call to reframe. I don't call AI a tool because there's no other tool in human history that makes decisions on its own.
Yeah.
And one gentleman calls it alien intelligence, because there are several documented instances where the AI does beyond what we weren't expecting. It goes beyond the bounds. It lied to a human to complete CAPTCHA and other, things that demonstrate this is something different. And so, I show up to it with a beyond just, hey, this is something to boost a business. There's a whole, not to go down that too far here, but there's a whole re-civilization that is happening as AI cascades to healthcare, to business and beyond. So all in all, I'm squared up on it and I'm enthused by the convo, but I do want to level set. If anyone is on the fence about how real this is, I want to read, this is an email from the CEO of Fiverr. Unfortunately, what's happening, I see a lot of leaders who are not being as vocal publicly with how advanced it is. So it's afforded people to it's coming. Yeah. But the CEO of Fiverr, I won't read this full thing, but I will share this. Dropping it.
Absolutely.
I always believed in radical candor and despise those who sugarcoat reality to avoid stating unpleasant truth. Here's the unpleasant truth. AI is coming for your jobs. Heck, it's coming for my job. It doesn't matter if you're a programmer, it goes through all this list. You must understand what was once considered easy will no longer exist. What was considered hard tasks will be the new easy. And he says, if you do not become an exceptional talent at what you do, a master, you will face the need for a career change in a matter of months. I am not trying to scare you. I am not talking about your job at Fiverr either. I am talking about your ability to stay in your profession in the industry. This is the CEO of, one of the largest, gig economy platforms. And there are a slew of other CEOs that have that sentiment. So all in all, I think it's because of the massive implications, we got to square up on it as business owners, and ultimately how value is created. That's what we're watching massive institutions lay off thousands of employees a quarter because they see Klarna during the pandemic, man, they shed several hundred employees, but scaled their productivity 100+%. And they're like, man, we see, if you're just doing the dollars and cents, we see businesses applying it right now. But for business owners on this call, we are now, how do we manufacture? What do we deem valuable? Is it truly dollars and cents? Because you can apply AI to the tilt. There's Sam Altman and a lot of those individuals believe there will be the 1-person, 2-person billionaire valued billion-dollar valued startups just because of the ability to apply and deploy AI agents. So for anyone that's not squaring up on it, to be a business owner and not squaring up on it is the equivalent of in the 90s when you were getting hip to the internet and you said, forget about it. We saw how that went. This is 10x.
So let's just, like, if somebody had to leave in 5 minutes and we could just give them a few practical things, like what can a business owner, let's start with a business owner, it could be a salesperson too, but what could a business owner do, or what should they do besides changing their mindset? I think that's the first thing we're hearing you say. You said that when we talked ahead of time, that people need to reframe the way this is. It's not a tool. This is, this isn't a tsunami that's coming. It is here. What are some action steps? Let's write out the blocks. Like, what are some things that a business owner should be doing besides reframing?
Yep. Testing, using, getting familiar, we'll check that. I think being very, very clear what your business does, the painstaking process about defining what does this business need, all the processes.
Thinking back to E-Myth, Michael Gerber.
Yes. Define all of the positions within your organization, make a job description for each, even if you're doing 80% of them, to define it that specific helps a business owner to know, where can I leverage AI? You know, because there are a lot of different plug and play, but to be clear, what are my processes helps you to know, what am I willing to delegate? And so that would be a clear step for me. I would also try to, remember when we were in school and you would, in class, you struggled on a subject, you would try to find someone in class who was ahead of the game, and someone's in your network who's knows this, and just get in their drip, you know, ask them, what tips are you applying, or what apps are you applying to your daily life? Like, really leverage your network. I think there's so much value business owners have, just the people you're serving. Hey, are you using AI? What's your favorite?
Yes.
And you have
make it a part of our regular routine to start asking questions, and then start identifying the folks that have squared up on it. And it's like, okay, I need to get a little bit more from that guy. I need to follow that guy a little bit more.
Because it's computing capacity, right? This AI's ability to consume massive amounts of data, analyze, and deliver responses across, you know, all myriad of verticals. For your business owners, I think data is the part where I think sales, I know Salesforce is from a very practical tool, that their integrations with AI is very robust. And so I think that's a good one.
Yeah, that's great. Let's talk to the salespeople for just a second. What would be like, I think a lot of salespeople are, you know, and it could be a business owner that's selling themselves, or even they're just in sales. They're in an entrepreneurial position, being an entrepreneur within somebody else's company. Lead generation is a big thing. Everybody's thinking lead generation. Is there anything that comes to mind that you'd recommend on the lead generation front?
Specifically with AI, or just to say, I will just say, in the era of AI, and we can clearly tell you got that right from a chatbot, and said, like, trust is still paramount, and the human connection is still paramount. So, you know, before salesmen rush to use AI, and, you know, just be cautious about burning trust quickly, because not everyone's there yet. And so I would prioritize that. But I would, from scripts, like if you leverage any chatbot, going through scenarios just to think through pitch angles. Here, I got stumped on my last deal. I thought it was going to go through, but it didn't. Share that information with a chatbot, and have this potential external thought partner, someone on your board of directors who can help you to really break down where you might have dropped the ball. So I think just from a external brain processor is a great starting point from a salesman. I think the ability to go to ChatGPT 5 now, that's where I've utilized your prospecting. If I wanted to get RJ Lowery, here's his LinkedIn and his website. Can you just scrub the internet and give me a summation of who he is? And what would be the best approach to selling my product to him? That's a right now utility that if you aren't using, like the work, you know what prospects, what it goes into prospect. So I think that's a right now utility.
I got to share with you. So last week we had Matt Brown, the retired UFC fighter, and I've gotten to know Matt over the last year pretty well. We've become good friends, you know. But I just said, you know, I need to be getting better. I need to be leaning into this. And one thing I found for me personally, business owner, sales guy, is preparing a presentation, preparing an interview, preparing, like my stomach would get all in the, and I literally went to ChatGPT and I'm like, yo, I'm interviewing Matt Brown, the legendary UFC fighter. I've got a bunch of business owners and salespeople and people from YouTube that'll be watching this. Can you help me with some questions? Like, if anybody isn't at least doing that, that's like preschool, right? I mean, that's, you know, but guess what? It's, did I reframe it? Did I not use all of them? But it took all those butterflies away. And then we just had an open, honest conversation, and I was able to bounce between those and some follow-ups. So my other question for you in regards to this, I want to share that as an example, guys. That's just one little area right there that you can do. But the other thing that comes to mind for me that we've heard it said, I was actually chatting with my personal trainer. He's on this call right now. And he said, we were talking about how critical thinking, you've heard it said that so my question is how do we balance between, we could be losing the ability to be critical thinkers as human beings and also still use AI, the tools that are there as we reframe our mindset and continue to move forward?
There have always been ways to take the shortcut. And if you are the person to take the shortcut, unfortunately, that's society has a way of separating the wheat from the tares in that respect.
Right.
And so ultimately, I think within a human, you have to know, have I mastered this? Do I know this? Because I think to build a business and to prop it exclusively up on a chatbot's ability to give you an answer is you can do it, but it's not a great long-term solution. Right. So I think, I wanted to take that a different direction. I lost my side point.
Sometimes we interrupt ourselves.
I know, and my ADD.
I'm right there with you.
Give me your original, the question that we were.
You're asking another guy with ADD. No, I think we talked about the critical.
Oh yeah. Because I just did a podcast around brain rot. Yeah. OpenAI addressed this topic, and I actually don't think ChatGPT utility is a disruptor to critical thinking. The short form content neurologically has been documented is what's rewiring.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
I think to ensure that we prioritize using AI in a way that it uplifts what I bring as a human versus replace what I bring. Because I think that's ultimately the only way, as a lot of the experts are identifying, how we handle it right now, how we steer this ship now is ultimately writes what history will be. So it's how do business owners prioritize using it? If it truly is, I'm maximizing profits exclusively, I'm moving people out the way, all of the kind of ethic components around its utility, I think that's one way. But I think the ability to say, I am not going to take the shortcut. I'm going to think through this. I'm not just going to go right to the answer. ChatGPT has study mode. So if it is about learning, it will not just give you the answer. It'll make you think through methodically, no matter how direct you ask. So I think there are some parameters you could put in place, but ultimately it comes down, are you the type to put in that work to make sure I'm not cutting a corner? And most people want that. Critical thinking isn't, it is not as common and or as easily desired as I think it's perceived to be.
Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break and then we're going to dive right back in. So just for anybody that's listening, again, my name is RJ Lowery with Burrell Trace TC Carter.
TC word.
Yeah, TC. And I am the lead coach and owner of Expert Edge Business Coaching, where we help business owners accelerate profits, reclaim back time for themselves, and amplify their impact on their loved ones. That's what I do for a living. So we have this Expert Edge Mastermind call weekly. I also do private coaching, group coaching for business owners, and speaking engagements and so forth. So I want to say for our live stream folks that are on right now, if you have a question, I'm going to take a few more. Please put it in the chat, and Pete will be checking that out. But love to do that for the sake of time. Instead of opening up right away, please jot any questions that you got. I've got a few more that hopefully will bring some additional value. And then we're going to open it up here in about 10 minutes, and we're going to answer some of the questions in the chat. So guys, would love for, and I know a lot of people got cameras off, so they may be driving, but if you guys want to throw some in, that'd be great. Let's talk about AI changing customer relationship management, especially for entrepreneurs who are relying on referrals and repeat business. Let's go down that path for a minute. Where do you see that is going where that can hurt, where that can help. Because my immediate, when I think of, I'm in the coaching business, right? I'm also still involved with a digital marketing company. I help franchises with digital marketing after our successful acquisition a year ago of RevLocal by Haibu. So I still work with franchisees and help them understand. There's a lot with AI and digital marketing, as you know. But my question is, certainly people getting out and doing things. I think you were going to go this way as well. If you're trying to get leads, in-person events, if you can make them, that's where that speed of trust can happen, because that same person that you were trying to get through LinkedIn message or something like that, he's filling up his coffee at the morning coffee at the local chamber. You're able to saddle up beside the guy, have a conversation, and get through to him. So I don't think we should be sleeping on in-person opportunities, but just relationship management, referral getting. Let's talk a little bit about that for business owners or sales guys.
I definitely think that you have that ability using AI to get more data quickly on any potential relationship. So I think that's helps you to better manage when you understand them. I saw something on a peripheral that I'm able to apply to how I deal with them. I think that the ability right now, gentlemen, if you heard of ChatGPT, the creating custom GPTs and or AI agents. I know that sounds daunting, but there are a YouTube video or 3 away from how can I create a digital companion. Think of an intern that I'm giving clear parameters. I want you to scrub the available web for these types of data points. Whatever your target customer, their psychographics, whatever you want to put. And the GPTs now have the ability to execute a series of tasks. So not only find them, but then condense them into a Excel format with, here are the headers for the sales. So you are talking to an intern with level of specificity with what you want. But I think just from a lead generation to leverage AI to go be scrubbing while I'm doing something else. And when you come back in an hour or two, the amount of data that can be retrieved versus what a singular human could do, that's what can be compared.
Well, that just literally walks us right into, and I know you didn't even see these questions, so it's great. There are business owners that are on this call or watching right now that are drowning in administrative tasks. And quite frankly, as you were saying, man, you got to square up. You got to lean into this. You got to go learn it. You got to go understand it. What about those business owners or even sales guys? They're like, dude, I am so slammed, in my business that I don't have time to be on my business. But what are maybe 2 or 3 ways? And I know you kind of hinted to it just now, that AI can help them with some of the administrative things. And where would we talked about using ChatGPT, and you talked about creating GPTs. I don't even know what that means, creating GPTs. So I'm learning. But what would be 2 or 3 ways for that person who's drowning in administrative tasks that would have gone to Fiverr, would have gone to the Philippines and gotten a virtual assistant, and probably for 10, 15, 20 bucks a month, they could buy into. And so which ones would you recommend, and what should they be looking at?
I'm glad you're in the mastermind, whatever you need some business coaching, I think, because there's a time audit. Any business owner, prioritize and finding 15 minutes a day, you got to find the time. That's one. I think a Claude or ChatGPT, one of those $20 subscriptions for a chatbot, because that does Gronk, I think, is another good one. I personally have not utilized it, but your preferred chatbot, I think going beyond the free, you don't got to go straight enterprise, because I think from there, it is going to take let me step away from my business so I can define it. Because if you can do that work of what are the tasks that you are doing, you can deploy an AI resource to help delegate and get things off of your plate, but it does take the time to define it. So that's
and you could probably, I was gonna say, you could probably go to ChatGPT and say, and use it like Google, that's preschool, and say, I have these tasks and I'm looking for an AI app, software system, whatever, to help me with that. And it probably could spit out the next steps that you need to take once you've identified those tasks. Back to Michael Gerber.
You want to hear something radical?
Yes.
It might make you cringe. There's a CEO who, since the beginning of their company in 2008, he has taken every email that he sent that he can, and he's uploaded it into their team's custom GPT, their team's standard procedures, their documents, because his philosophy, the future of business in his mind is, I want anybody in the company to be able to talk to me. So he's created a digital replica of him. So think of how accurate you could get by way of, if I fed enough detail to
Chuck GPT instead of Chuck IRL. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully you guys have seen that commercial. Talking about Charles Barkley. Okay, go ahead.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I think that when you think about how do I scale myself to not be so consumed by every single task, is how do I replicate how I think in such a way that someone else or an AI representative can respond to my incoming emails. Like, there are platforms right now from an email. If you don't want to be responding to emails, you can deploy a resource to do something like that. So that's one thing that I think could be taken off of many.
What are some and again, I know you study this so much, but what are maybe some examples of companies that they've been able to, I mean, you talked to us about the ones that have been laying folks off, and again, we kind of see that from the negative side, but are there some examples of either bigger companies or even small businesses that have employed some of these things, and this is what it was able to do for them? Like, we're talking theory, but are there
I think Klarna. I mean, Klarna is a great documented, because they've been pretty direct with, I won't waste our time trying to hunt down the data, but by the ratio by amount of employees they shed, percentage of their revenue increase during the same period. I think Amazon is another great representation that over the past several years, they're up to over 1 million humanoid robots in their employee workforce. So within their warehouse and in various parts of their delivery, they are reducing, how the cost of an employee, their salary, benefits, etc., reducing that cost. And I have a machine doing the work, no breaks, however, day after day, no complaints. So I think that there's several organizations, I'll just name two, that reducing, I think, and ultimately too, where I do see the cuts in staff is so companies can be lean enough to, I don't think that the final decision has been made or, that route is the route. I think organizations want to be lean enough. We can deploy our capital to learning R&D, what AI, what should we test, building our systems for tomorrow. But how businesses get built, like the concepts of staffing and all that, I think this is disrupting that at such a fundamental level that business owners who are first to rethinking, how can I think human and digital as I'm building team?
So true. And I actually posted last week about Ikigai. A lot of people think of Stephen Covey talking about the hedgehog concept. What are you really good at? What pays you the most? What do you love to do? And a lot of people that don't realize it, but Ikigai, I was actually a Japanese minor in college. I was an international business and marketing double major. Studied language, culture, history for 3 years. Karate was mixed in there. I really enveloped myself in that. But I had come across this concept of Ikigai, and it's essentially the same. It's, what are you really good at? I think in today's world, we need to, you need to know what tasks you're doing, but you also need to know as you're moving forward, really, what is this special place that our creator has given you to make a difference in this world? And that's, so you list out, what am I really good at? You list out, what pays me a lot of money? You list out, what do I like to do? Like, we live in a world, where you can really choose what do you like to do, and think of it like concentric circles with, the Olympic rings, and where those connect is you start seeing if there's a couple things here, they're all connecting. And then you throw in Ikigai, the fourth one, which again, I was around before Jim Collins, but what am I called to do? What is my mission? And I think, when I think of these things, I think moving forward, we've got to be very clear on what are we called to do? Who are we called to impact? And so I think that's just my personal take, is like, I'm really doubling down on who I am in today's world. And my goal is to not be replaced. And as a coach, you know, the accountability, somebody in their face, like not a humanoid, not a chat GPT, but RJ up in their grill, weekly calls, holding them accountable, loving on them, pushing them in the business to get out of in the business and onto the business. If we're going to just say closing arguments, just like, hey guys, this is let's wrap up with this. We're love to hear closing thoughts.
I thought you was going to present something that like tried to knock me off my square.
No.
I was ready. I know you got the jiu-jitsu moves. I was ready. I am encouraging everyone, as much as I'm encouraging to upskill, learn, is to prioritize cherishing the simple moments of being human. More now than ever, because of AI, because our phones now integrated with AI, we truly can be doing more everywhere. And if we're not careful, the moments where we're standing in line at the checkout counter and we're here when we should be talking with the person behind us, we're walking through the park and here versus, you know, I think ultimately going back to human connection, there's so many things going to be autonomous and we don't acting with. So you being prioritizing, I am going to be human. I am going to do human things, as simple as that sounds.
Right.
Because I think this can be so all-consuming
for sure
that we got to step away.
Trace Carter, AI strategist and a variety of other things, but more importantly, a brother, a friend, a father, a husband, a son, awesome human. I've loved our relationship over the last 9 years. I've been so blessed by our friendship. What you're putting into the world. I'm proud of you. I'm old enough that I can say that. I'm proud of you, man. You're doing, it's just been so fun watching what God's doing in and through you. And how would people get a hold of you if they just want to reach out, because I know that you do speaking engagements. I know you do things on behalf of COSI. There's things that you can do with VR with them there, but you also do personal branding. Anybody that's following you, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you, and where should they follow you?
So that part's selective. I think that from a mode of engagement, I think at COSI, our team has gotten really good at delivering VR solutions. So it's another thing as a sales professional, being able to deliver product demonstrations in immersive environments that typically maybe are dangerous, can't really bring customers in. Being able to find solutions there, would love to have conversations that appeals to you. Parallel to that, I do speak at high schools. I speak at corporations, particularly around what is AI, how to use it, tips, tricks, workshops. So whatever the ultimate need is, being able to be a resource and building GPTs. They're helping to sit and analyze what are the needs and coming to a solution that could benefit a business owner is something I also help. So running parallel to
LinkedIn, Insta.
LinkedIn, Trace Carter. I think Instagram.
What's your website?
Website's tracecarter.com. Email hello@tracecarter.com. Send an email, and we'd love to just hear what's going on, how I can be of service. Anything that I said in this call you want to follow up on, that I'm an open book. I'll double click on anything. But yeah, LinkedIn and Instagram and website are probably the top 3 for sure.
Right on. Awesome. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Good stuff. All right. Thanks for, so if you're still listening, thanks so much for joining in today. Again, I'm RJ Lowery with Expert Edge Business Coaching, where we help business owners accelerate profits, reclaim back time for themselves and those that they love, and amplify their impact on their family, their community, and the world. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.